A big hello once again to everyone watching. Welcome to the third part in this brand new City Bus Manager series. We're over here in Croydon. In the last episode, we expanded greatly, added 3 new routes, in fact. We added the southern half of the 109, which is Croydon's busiest route. I'm going to say South London's busiest route. No, that title goes to the 36, which doesn't go anywhere near here, so we can't operate it. We also added the 407. Did we? Yes, we did. And we only added the bit between Croydon Town Centre and Sutton, because otherwise there'll be a massive overlap between the 407 and the 466 down to Purley, which I don't think is needed. Speaking of the 466, 466 is just horrendously always late. 24 minutes late here, 20 minutes late here, 20 minutes late here. They're basically technically on time, but for the bus behind, which is just, you know, task failed successfully. That's how to describe that. Then we also added the X26. I guess you could count that as a route. I mean, it only has 3 stops, which is, well, 4 actually now. It's West Croydon, East Croydon, then it runs express to Croydon Road, Wallington Green, and then to Sutton Town Centre. Bit pointless. Just added it for the fun of it. Get some buses off the roads. Might add an overnight element to it, just, you know, so that we can keep expanded, add new buses to our depot. We added new liveries. And on this episode, there is no bus available to run the shift. Aha, so I left myself in a bit of a pickle. That is not a problem. Actually, looking at my finances, that is a bit of a problem. Okay, we're going to need to wait for anyone at all, to please come back in. Come back into the garage. Please stop making yourself more late so that you can claim overtime payment. I'm begging. You're going to bankrupt the entire company. So the aim for this episode is to just continue expanding, add some new routes, solidify our current routes by increasing their frequencies, because some probably do need it. Are you really going to take that bus out when it's filthy? Okay. Alright, I mean, not really doing the Stagecoach name any good there. I feel like I'm going to be damaging their reputation. They're going to send me an email asking me to stop using their logo on buses that are that filthy. That's also completely not like Stagecoach. Stagecoach are pretty good when it comes to bus presentation, I find. They don't tend to run Bandits buses. God, why is this thing returned? Oh, I'm really going to have to put this on the 466, aren't I? Oh well, a bus is a bus. Off you go. Yeah, no, Stagecoach are, I tend to find, one of the best in terms of presentation. Don't really run around buses without them. That would be ideal as well. Oh, you don't want to use the new exit? Oh, I spent all that money for no reason. Shame. Oof. Oh, keep the game running. Just quickly check up on the health of the stream. So this episode will be a bit of a slower one, in quotation marks, because I don't know there'll be that much physically done. I mean, we will do the research into getting new double-decker buses, new solo buses. How many do we need? We need 150. Okay, so we're a bit far away from that. But eventually the goal is to replace our entire fleet with ALX 400s, some nice Tridents, and also some Scania Omnicity double-deckers. Because those are like the perfect balance between capacity, cost, everything. So those are the deckers that we want to try get, and thankfully, thank the Lord, we cannot get any street decks in this game. That is, praise the Lord. If they ever ask the community for what new buses to add, the last bus I want to see in this game is a street deck. Having just ridden on the coaster, not coastliner, that's the 27. The coaster route in Brighton, and that video is up on my channel if you want to go check it out after the stream. Yeah, no, I don't want to hear anything to do with street decks ever again. I'd prefer if they just weren't in my vicinity at all. But sadly, being down in Brighton quite often, it's now like a common part of their fleet. So it's just a necessary evil I have to negotiate. Oh, we unlocked the 0405. Get ourselves a tasty Citaro. It's unfortunate we never actually got any of these in London. Any London spec 0405s. We did get some. Actually, did we? I'm trying to think if. No, never mind. We never got any at all. Because I know for a fact Travel West Midlands, or just. I don't know if it was West Midlands, but under the travel umbrella, one of their departments had some of those in the UK, which were the only ones in the UK, which is super unique. And it's just a shame that, like, not more operators bought them to some crazy, like, every 5-minute routes. Because that's the secret. I also suspect this game doesn't really do private car like simulation that well, because I can't imagine some of these routes would be that busy, especially the 455, because it seems ridiculous that like you get completely rammed full buses, considering it's literally the most round the back streets going like through everyone's front past everyone's front door type of route. Okay. Oh. Little bread van is back, or, well, it needs to be refueled, so whenever that's done, refuel that, then wash this. And I think that covers all our dirtiest buses. So these two are due for a wash, this is also due for a wash. This is okay, this could maybe do with a clean inside. Let's do the old sniff test. Well, there aren't any like stink lines emanating from it, so it doesn't need to be cleaned on the inside. This needs a wash as well, and a clean inside. I never understand how a bus can get to this state. Are people literally throwing like excrement at it as it goes past? You know what it is? It's because it was on the 455, and it's just the youth. This is what they do nowadays. Just chuck stones and chuck mud at our buses. If they're not careful, we'll have to end up cutting back some routes. But speaking of that, how's everyone's days doing? Oh, it's time to shift for the X26. This is not really that busy. I would usually like probably put something bigger on that, because you'd assume an express route, especially to the airport, would be incredibly busy, but this game, nope. So it seems a bit strange how they simulate passenger numbers. So I'll put the smallest buses we have onto it. Set this to wash. Hello, Tico. Ticho. Sign that. Sign this onto the 407. Probably save the bigger buses for like the peak hour runs on the 455. And maybe also put them onto the 109. I feel like, because I feel like the 109 is going to be one of those like really busy routes eventually. He says, whilst the overnight service is currently carrying 2 people. Okay, maybe it's time to withdraw the night service of the 109. Radical proposals by TFL. Sorry, TFV. That doesn't make any... TFVL, there you go. Transport for Virtual London. 407, okay, put some longer buses on that. Short buses onto the 466. I think you can rub off the Go Coach logo. There's a rubber button in the paint shop. I think you're correct. That does mean I have to spend the money on buying a paint shop though. But I will do it because it does annoy me ever so slightly seeing those Go Coach logos. Although in saying that, I only have one of those Go branded buses here. Okay, put longer buses on the 455. Where's the other one? Oh, it's on the 109. Okay. Whenever that comes back in around midday, because it's currently doing a night shift, then I'll repaint it. And I think... yeah, I only have 2 Go Coach branded ones. Okay, into the paint shop. Eraser tool. Okay, that's not really... I mean, this will do, but that's not... oh, actually... I see how the eraser tool works now. Okay, yeah, thanks for that. That helps a lot. Although, to be honest, I might as well just make a fictional Go Coach branded one as well. Pretend as if, like, they actually have any appetite to run into London. Win some tendered routes. To be fair, that would be fun. Again, it would add, like, more independent operators, but with the current state of the tendered market in London, I don't think we'll see any more independents trying to run any routes. Some first London Willow Leaf branded vehicles. Ignore the fact that this stripe here is the complete wrong colour to this over here. That's a little oversight by me. Send these out. To be honest, First London actually never ran into Croydon. So this is like complete make-believe right here. The closest they ever got was their Orpington operations, where they ran the R routes and actually the T31. Was it the T32? No, it was the T31 that they ran. And then decided to sell up those operations pretty early doors. I think it was like 2009. It's before the 2010s. And they sold those operations to Metrobus, which just really cemented their dominance in South London. Which was actually a pretty good thing, because Metrobus were a really good operator. Oh, and speaking, the 109 is finally actually properly busy. At capacity from the first stop. And we have another 80 people waiting for the 109. Okay, the 109's frequency is currently every half an hour, which is, as always, sacrilegious in this part of London. Oh, also in the bus routes tab now it shows you how profitable all the routes you have are. That's very useful. Okay, assign something a bit longer onto the 109, because busy routes needs longer buses, more capacity. Whilst this is sitting in the depot, I'm just gonna paint this thing. I mean, I don't think we'll have it long. I think it will be sold in, like, I'd say maybe a week's time. Replace it with actual, you know, higher capacity vehicles. Get the disgusting blue roof off. I do not understand why it randomizes the roof to that color. You know what, honestly? Oh, nope. I'm just going to slap some Go Coach logos on it. There we go. Here's a make-believe Go Coach branded London bus. Assign another 109 shift. Looking at the 109, edit its timetable. It does run actually every 20 minutes during the rush hours. Actually, all day it runs every 20 minutes. Should I push it down to every 15? Throw an extra bus onto it. I feel like we have the resources to accommodate that. And also, it definitely needs it. Actually, it needs it so much, I'm going to insert an additional bus onto it. Okay, the insert additional bus button is not working. Oh, there we go. Took its time, but decided to work. Throw out that Go Coach branded vehicle. Putting it to good use already, earning us some money. Selhurst Park, we'd like to inform you that we're very satisfied with the CR1. Good, good. So we'll, they'll keep paying us for that. Although then again, this is just a route that I don't know why we run it. It's making chump change. But I just thought, you know what? Doing a council-supported route, go for it. To be fair, we should do, what was it? It was like the 969? Or the 939? I can't remember which one was the one that ran into Croydon. They used to terminate around Crystal Palace. It was like a mobility route that only ran on Tuesdays and Fridays. Literally at one journey every single day. Could you do the 407, the 470 in Sutton later? Yes, I can. I will do the 470. I mean, Sutton is a bit of a stretch for our operations, considering our base is in Bedington. But that's fine. We're going to challenge our ATP group. And we're going to put better buses on the 470 instead of having MMCs, which is just, you know, the box standard. It's literally what every single route has now, pretty much. And every single route is pretty much going to get the BYD versions soon enough. So have some Cheam. So I could do it from Cheam through Sutton and up to Rose Hill. Do we have Rose Hill? We have St. Helier. Do have Rose Hill. Can terminate it there, I guess. I'm not sure if we'll be able to go all the way up to Merton. All the way up to Collier's Woods. Might terminate it at Morden. St. Helier. Okay, let's need to assign the X26. Oh, why did I send out this? No. Paint this before it goes out to the X26. Another thing I might also do is, eventually when we do unlock the ALX 400s and the Scania Omnicities, I think I'll do a custom X26 repaints. Maybe something based upon, I'd say, Brighton and Hove's like liveries, because that's what I know how to do best. Or maybe something around do a mixture of like Brighton and Hove Metrobus. I might do like some first like their XL routes, that type of branding. I think it's the 917. It's definitely not the 917. It was. I'm pretty certain it was the 969. No, that still operates. 939. Maybe it was a 917. Hang on a minute, I'm doing some research. You can't see this, but I am searching on Google to see what the route number is, because now that's going to bug me. It was... Where is it? I mean... that's what it was. The route I was thinking of was the 931, which was Crystal Palace to Lewisham. Because, yeah, the 931, that was the route that terminated at Crystal Palace. But the 917 was one, did actually go from West Croydon to South Croydon, and it was... Well, okay, I'd assume Selsdon, but it was operated by Abellio. That went in 2011. Oh. What it is because I've seen photos of some Abellio buses parked outside Whitgift Centre with the 931 route on display. The drivers are just having a laugh. Okay, assign this shift, assign that, assign this, assign the 407, and we've run out of buses. Unfortunate. Okay, remove the paint shop. Do not need it. But yeah, no, those mobility routes were interesting, to say the least. I was very tempted to go on the 931, 931's last day, but then I couldn't bring myself to it. I was like, it's at an odd time. It's one direction only, and it was full of veg anyway. But I think TfL's argument was that, we have dial-a rides, so we don't need to run these mobility routes anymore. Granted, I don't know how well that argument has played out, if all the people who used to use those mobility routes have moved on to dial-a rides. I suspect they weren't only just used by people with mobility issues. Okay, this is horrendously smoking. What's happened to our bus? Oh, I've decided to clean it instead of repair it. No, that's not what I was going for. It has a flat tyre. Are you sure about that? Are you sure the nail isn't in the engine compartment? Because I don't think a flat tyre makes it steam this much and with a smoke that dark. Okay, replacement parts. Get some tyres. Deliver them instantly because we need them. Okay, assign this onto the 407, onto the C1, then 455, this onto the 455, that onto the 109. Clean it before it gets sent out. What else do we have? Oh, we have this coming in. And for the 109, do we have anything? We do have one up here. What? Where did that come from? Oh, we decided to come up from the new entrance. Which bus operated the last 931? It was an MMC, sadly. I think it was one of the 367's batch of MMCs. It was one of the short door ones. It wasn't anything interesting. If it was a Dart, which was its allocation in quotation marks, they didn't really have an allocation mobility routes, which was whatever was spare in the garage on that day. But if it was something more interesting, I think I would have been more motivated to actually go and ride it. But yeah, it was an MMC. I also think it was one of the few times an MMC actually did that route before withdrawal. Because it was withdrawn about a year after the 367 was won by Abellio, and they started operating it. So those MMCs would have just been brand new. I also think that there were also cases of Nimbuses from the 455 going on to the 931, but sadly on the last day it wasn't to be. Okay, this service center, RAM solids, need to hire more staff. I'm sorry you have to put up with people complaining about our shoddy service and the fact I cannot run any shifts at all, any schedules. There we go. How many service staff do we have now? 9. Do we have even 9 counters? Yeah, it'll do. Okay, assign smaller bus to the X26. Fix this bus's tyres, because they've just burst. Some research. Reduce bus wear. I don't really want an articulated bus. Upgrades bus stops, replacement parts, and reduce wait times by 10%, along with better food for our employees. Now, so we can expand. Last time I decided to go for the west. We expanded out to Sutton. This time I think I'm going to expand out to the east and expand towards the Addington area and Bromley area, so that we can expand, so we can complete the 466, start running the 119. I think that will be a fun one to run as well. There's a bit of overlap with like Croydon Town Centre routes, and then plenty of overlap with the 466 up until Shirley Church Road, where it turns off here and then continues up to Shirley. Picture of the 931 being operated by Metrobus. There is, and they did operate it before Abellio did, but I'm not 100% certain when the contract changed. I can't remember if mobility routes had the same rules as like regular TfL routes, if it was every 5 years and they could be extended by 2 years if like their performance was good. I'm not sure if that's how they operated. I think they operated like that, but they might have had like short tenders. They might have changed hands every 3 years, because I know that's what TfL do for rail replacement contracts. For London Overground, for tube lines, they change every 3 years, so I don't know if the mobility routes were the same. But yes, Metrobus did used to operate that. Metrobus also operated some really interesting routes that ran in like South London. There used to be a park and ride route in Bromley that they ran. They also ran some strange route up in, what was it, like Stratford? I can't even remember what route that was. I think that was also a mobility route. It was another mobility route that somehow they managed to win. And it was in the north of London, across the river. They were operating it out from Orpington. I mean, like, sure, I get it. The mobility routes had like 1-2 journeys every single week, so dead mileage, who cares? You could have operated it from outside London. And you might have been cost effective, but like, surely some other operator closer to the route must have wanted to bid for it and must have had it cheaper. I don't know. There were plenty of weird quirks in the TfL bidding process back in the past. I mean, granted, nowadays it is also pretty interesting, I guess, because you do have, for example, like the 91 being operated from Stockwell, which is just weird, a North London route being operated by a South London garage, but nothing compares to that example where Metrobus operated the mobility route out in... Was it across the river, or was it all the way in like Wimbledon? Anyway, it was just in an area completely away from, just, you know, an area you'd least expect to see them in. Okay, the 466 is constantly late. Without fail, every single bus here is late. So what I'm going to do, edit the timetable, add in some more padding. Add in 2 minutes of padding. Copy and paste, reset. Interesting, they've moved around some buttons. Add in like 5 minutes of padding, that's going to add in an extra bus. Now, I don't really want to fund that extra bus, so I might reduce it down to every 20 minutes. But if I'm going to be adding in an extra bus, I was going to say I might as well reduce it down to every 15, but then that adds an extra 2 buses. The 466, why can't you just be simple to operate? You know what, I'll add in the extra pattern because soon enough it will go to Addington Village, so I'll put that extra bus to good use. I'm just doing a classic TFL operator right now, where it's just excessive padding. If you've ever been to like a terminus for a high frequency route, you'll always notice there's about 6 buses on lay-by. That's a result of just way too much padding. And it's how any operator nowadays in London especially makes their money. Because they have to make sure buses are on time so that they win the performance bonuses. Because otherwise, just operating the route, they bid literally bargain basement prices. They cannot survive without the bonuses from like good performance. So add in padding, add in a few extra buses, make them sit around at every single stop. I find Go-Ahead is really particularly bad for this. I mean, the South London operations, Metrobus area, was largely spared from it, but I have started to notice it start to creep in. Like the 119, I used to use it a lot, especially under Metrobus's operation. Always fast, always speedy, rarely ever was regulated, even if we were bunched up with one right in front, which, okay, not great service control, I'll grant you that, but it made for good speedy journeys, because you know you could rely on it to get you to Croydon or to Bromley in roughly half an hour, give or take. Apart from that one journey at night where the madman managed to do it in 20 minutes, which is insane. He maxed out his B5. Oh, okay, better stop waffling and actually start cleaning my buses. But nowadays, sadly, I've noticed the 119 starting to just... There's just excess padding now. They're not as fast as they used to be. Even at night. Oh, at night it's especially bad. I hate it when the roads are clear and then you hear the dreaded... The driver has been instructed to regulate at this stop. To hold at this stop for a couple of minutes to help even out the service. And you're like, it's 2 in the morning, there's no cars. Who are we benefiting? There's not going to be a massive horde of people, you know, who are just going to miss this bus if it runs 1 minute early. Also, hello, Nathan. And obviously, yes, it's like a fine balancing act between, do you want the service to be reliable or do you want excess padding? But I mean, it doesn't have to be that excess, especially when you're waiting that stops like 5-7 minutes. You're nearly waiting the entire headway and you're just like, how has this happened? If my bus is caught up to the one in front, then let my bus overtake the one in front. Make them gain, you know, stand time at the terminus. It's especially annoying when you're actually near the terminus, 1 or 2 stops away. That just rubs me the wrong way. Sticking with the 119 example, if say we're at like St Mark's Church or like Hayes Road, Camden Road, which is 2 stops away from Bromley South, don't sit and regulate for 3 minutes. I have places to be. You know, you can just regulate at the terminus. Give the driver like an extra 2 minutes of stand time. Again, you're not going to have people waiting for the bus excessively. you know, at Bromley South to go to Bromley North. But again, these are just the quirks of the tendering system in London. Sign out all these duties. Unfortunately, I was waffling so bad that well, a large majority of them are going to be late to start their routes, but it's whatever. Hey, fantastic. Okay, so we have the 466. Edit the route. So from Heathfield Farm, scroll up. Here's Heathfield Farm. Then it comes down to Addington Park. Does stop on this side. Is there a stop here for Gravel Hill? I don't think there is. Off the top of my head. It's very strange because the 466 seems to serve Gravel Hill tram stop literally in one direction only. Anyway, continuing around to Addington Village Interchange. Then Addington Park without going onto that side road. Why has it done that? Addington Park. Then Gravel Hill tram stop. Oops, serves Heathfield Farm twice. That's unfortunate. Gravel Hill tram stop, and then Heathfield Farm. Then back around to Pine Combe. Combe Lane tram stop. I don't think it serves it in this direction either. Very strange. Anyway, advanced settings. Yeah, there you go. Putting that extra bus to good use. Regulating this got so bad, I'm pretty sure some drivers actually wait until the bus is late before they start the route. I actually know plenty of drivers who do that. It's a very common thing. Some routes are so excessively padded, literally drivers leave about 6-7 minutes late, and then they still end up early. It's just unfortunate because, you know, like, if you're at the start of a route and you're on stand and you see the bus there, you see the driver there, you know the timetable, you can see the bus is meant to leave in, like, say, a minute. But the driver, you know, he's sat at the back of the bus on his phone watching videos, he might be outside having a cigarette break. I can understand if the driver goes out for, like, a wee or whatever, fine, those are valid reasons to be late. But then, you know, you just see them just sitting there waiting, and then they end up pulling up to your stop like 5 minutes late. Okay, fine, whatever. And then by like the next couple of stops, sorry, this, you know, the driver's been instructed to hold at this stop for a couple of minutes in order to regulate the service. Like, okay, now I understand why the driver decided to sit around and do nothing for a solid 5 minutes. Because otherwise, he would have had to do this on the road. The 950, not the Fort Park one. Yes, you're right, 950. I think that was the one that Metrobus operated. A very strange route for them to operate. Metrobus just used to have their fingers in every single part of the market. I've seen the video of the E5 driver that went to the chicken shop because he was early. I have seen it, and I've also seen the people complain about that. And I just want to slap people who complain about that, because I'm like, listen, if the guy's early and the guy is hungry and he's like coming towards the end of his shift, or maybe he's going to go to his stand, it's not like, you know, he's left the cab door open, he's asked someone else, do you mind hopping in and driving whilst I go get some chicken? You know, like, take it to the stand, bring it back, by the time you get back I'll have my chicken, I'll take over. He hasn't done that. All he's done is left his cab, door is secure, maybe he's had to regulate, fine, popped into the shop for a couple of minutes, got his food, came back, drove off. Fantastic. But here we are, living in a society where it's just like, okay, get your phone out, record that, upload it to TikTok, be outraged. I know, right? Like, sure, don't get me wrong, it would be a bit different if he, like, if he was literally eating his chicken whilst driving, you know. That's slightly different, fine. But, like, my man literally stopped at a bus stop, it wasn't even illegal parking, he was at a bus stop. And people still find, like, ways to complain about that. Okay, Marketplace, gonna have to get ourselves a few new buses. I might actually buy some bendies. Though I say that, can only afford one. Need more than one bus, ideally. So I'll get 2 line cities. Should I get 7 grand more? But then also it can carry 16, 17 more passengers. I can't even afford this, so 2 line cities it is. Get them. Big Lemon? No. Get it in First London livery. Expanding that. And then I've also seen, I've seen some absolutely ridiculous arguments online on some forums of some people saying, why do bus routes even have stand time? Why don't drivers just leave as soon as they arrive? And I'm like, holy, like, do you think bus drivers are just robots? 24/7 behind the wheel, like they don't have human needs, bodily needs that they have to attend to? Imagine having to drive for 10 hours straight without a single break. Some of the arguments I see online are absolutely ridiculous by, like, people who claim themselves to be enthusiasts. Oof. Let's gloss over that voice crack. But yeah, no, it's just... Yeah, they're not robots. They have needs. They have... You know, but then also, they're the type of people that it's like, okay, so remove stand times off routes. So bus drivers, as soon as they come to a stand, they have to turn around, go back out. Then they start complaining if you see people, you know, like stopping their bus to go get some chicken, to go pee. Oh, how dare they actually attend to their needs. Also, on top of that, without stand time, every single bus route in London would be forever 24/7 late. Stand time is built so that drivers can rest and so that routes can recover. If a bus is 5 minutes late and you have 10 minutes of stand time, good. The bus leaves on time. Yeah, hi, yeah. Why did he have to join in at that exact moment? Okay, assign the X26. So we extended the 466, although that seems to have just turned around at Addington Park instead of going to the village. Alright. Oh, that's why, because route changes take place the day after. Keep forgetting that. Fairfield Halls, we have 100 people waiting, 60 for the 109. Have 80 waiting for the 466. Okay, so the 466 is picking up a bit. Call me Vast. Alright, Vast. Have that noted. Since someone was asking earlier, I will create the 407. Oh, I keep saying the 407, the 470. Dyslexic brain. It's not a route that I'm that familiar with myself. The Sutton area, well, I'm familiar sort of with the Sutton area, but the Epsom area, the Toolworth area, traditional like Epsom coaches area, that I'm not familiar with because I wasn't largely in that part of London. So from Sutton, are we just right on the border? We are right on the border of Sutton. So I can operate it. I can run a route all the way up to. Is that Morden? No, this is Mitcham. Okay. The problem here is I don't actually have enough of the map to properly operate this route. Because I have to expand more. Expand more to the west, to the west in order to do the 470. So here's the station, and then the 470 literally comes over here, comes down here, down here. That's unfortunate. So I'll have that noted for next time. I will get the 470 up and running because it was requested. Yeah, no, every single route would literally just have. See, the thing is, Metrobus isn't even that bad for lateness. If you want to see an operator who's bad for lateness, try Go Coach. Go Coach are horrendous. Every single time I've used them, they've always just been like at least half an hour late. I mean, to their credit, they still run their buses, but it's just not to any timetable they actually publish. Although I do say that the couple of times I have used Metrobus's regional routes, they have also been late. That's how I got that really fast Scania Omnicity on the hundreds. The driver actually arrived early at Red Hill, got on and then just started flooring it, and somehow by the time we got to Gatwick he was still like 5 minutes late. It boggles the mind how how a timetable like that exists. Where even whilst flooring it, the guy was still late. Hey, it made for a good video for me, so can't complain. How did they run that late? Jeez. I don't know, it's Go Coach moments. Honestly, that's... I wish I had an answer, because I would love to know. Especially on a route that is like... a round trip is about 40 minutes. So how the hell is it like already one bus late? How is that possible? I think in terms of like operator who genuinely has never been on time when I've used it, has been Go Coach. Every single time I've used it, the bus has always been at least 10 minutes late. Many outer route London timetables are brutal, to be fair. That's true as well. Very true. Perfect example was the 119. Nowadays, less so. Although, you do say that, but then you also have routes like the 466, which is just like... It's an outer London route, but it's padded to hell and back. Oh yeah, trust me, the one is like a perfect example of that. They have 3 journeys a day on the one, and every single time I've had the misfortune of having to try use that route, they've ran it half an hour late. And I you know, literally boggles the mind, because you look at the routes, there's not that much traffic. How the hell can you be stuck in... How is it possible to be that late on a route that was literally 20 minutes to get from Westerham to Sevenoaks? And, to be fair, that is also the same for like quite a lot of regional routes. They do have quite brutal timetables. Another one of my favourites is taking the Regency route, operated by not Metro, but Brighton and Hove. Such a behemoth of a route, but the timetable is just it's in that sweet spot where it's like it's robust enough to where buses do run on time, but also if there's any form of traffic in Brighton, the bus will just be late out of Brighton, and then the poor sod, the poor driver has to absolutely hammer it to make up time up to Tunbridge Wells. But then on the way back, they're just on time. So, you know, fair play to Brighton and Hove. Oh, the 314 is always late and oh god, don't get me you reminded me about the 314. Don't get me started on that route. Every time I see the 314 go past, it's somehow always bunched. It's an absolute mystery as to how Stagecoach can run the route that badly. This was even before, like, the route was high frequency. It was every 12 minutes. They still managed to bunch it when it was every 15. I don't know why the 314 doesn't get double deckers. To be fair, it is explained in chat because of a low bridge, but also I don't know why the 314 isn't split in half, because I kind of feel like it's a route of 2 halves. I feel like it should be split in Bromley, but there isn't any stand space to split it, because Bromley is really full. There is literally no space to stand any more routes. But you know, because what I always find is it's between Bromley and Eltham, and then Bromley to like Addington Village, and then Addington Village around New Addington. That seems to be like the general pattern of passenger flows on the 314. Granted, this has been a couple of years. This was a couple of years in the past. I haven't used it that recently, but that seems to be my observations. And the route was very busy, so it definitely justified like its frequency being upped to every 12 minutes. But what is absolutely a criminal is the fact that it still runs every half an hour or every 20 minutes, I think, on a Sunday. The route needs to be higher frequency, because on a Sunday, actually, Sunday service, don't even get me started. I've seen those bunch as well on the 314. How does that happen? But, like, the Sunday service is extremely busy. It definitely needs a frequency uplift. Oh, hell no. No, you disagree with the idea of splitting it in half? The 358 could use the 126 stand at Bromley South. I don't know if there's enough space for having technically 2 routes terminate there. Because there isn't any space at Bromley North. And the old stand that the 126 used to stand at for Bromley South is gone now. Yeah, so the 314... Yeah, so I was right. The 314 is every half an hour on a Sunday. That's out of order. How can TfL review the frequency of a route? Look at it, go, okay, every 15 minutes. Needs to be slightly more frequent on a weekday, but every half an hour on a Sunday? Perfect. Chef's kiss. Don't change it. TfL are just... Sometimes they just don't make any sense. To be fair, the 358 is also a route that, you know, sort of is like multiple halves, because no one ever goes from Orpington to Crystal Palace. Trust me, I have done the 358 end-to-end a couple of times. I'm the only soul who's ever done that. Although in saying that, one of the times I did have one other person who did it with me, which I don't understand. Because I did it just because it was Scania Omnicity single-decker, so... You know, I had a valid reason. This guy just... I don't know. There's faster ways to get to Crystal Palace from Orpington. But I digress. But the 358, I don't think it needs to be split in half. It's not really that unreliable a route. And the connections that you can get on it are really useful. The only reason why I say the 314 should probably be split in half is because it is like a pig of a route to operate. And like the passenger flows are so clearly defined, very few people actually go cross Bromley on the 314. Maybe there are a couple of trips that would be broken, sure. I don't deny that between, like, you know, Plaistow and Addington Village, or Plaistow, Hayes up to Eltham, sure. Fine, you will get those trips. But a large majority of people, I find, tend to get off around Bromley on the 314, coming from Eltham and also coming from, like, Addington area. Whereas the... it starts at 7:30. That's true, the 358 does get 12-metre buses. The new trams, I don't think anyone's ever mentioned the length of them, but I'm pretty certain they're 12 metres as well. But they're also horrible. I can't get over the design of them. Disgusting. And also, the fact they have a single leaf at the front door, that's just levels of stupidity I've never seen before. Because that's going to hamper loading times. You watch. You're going to have a massive crowd of like school children trying to board a 358. Try to get through those narrow front doors. It's just, you know, you're going to have people literally arguing and fighting over who gets the board first. Kind of has like the arrangement of a wheel forwards street light, which is an awful comparison. That's not like a good thing. Another horrible route is the 124. Yeah, the 124 is... You know, it has the dubious honour of being one of the only routes that is midi-door operated yet high frequency. And TfL still had the audacity to reduce its frequency from every 8 minutes to every 10. Any thoughts on the 433 getting those E-City Gold buses? I think they're boxy and kind of ugly, but I don't mind it too much. I don't think it's absolutely horrendous. I just don't understand the, you know, completely, here's like a shoebox on wheels. I thought we moved past that in the early 2000s, that kind of design. Although the thing is with the 433 ones, one thing that I absolutely hate is the fact that they're going to get Toyota badges on the front. In my brain, that just feels comical. Sure, I mean, granted, it's no different than having a Citaro with like a Mercedes-Benz badge, sure, but like, seeing Toyota just on a bus, I don't know, that's just funny to me. Yeah, the front door is just a single thing. It's like, trust me, it's going to be a pain. If you're in a massive crowd of people waiting for a 358 and it's like late, and there's a massive amount of you, that's just going to hamper down loading times. And yeah, no, the 124, yeah, see, I feel like even at every 8 minutes it was rammed full, and I felt like it did need a bit of a frequency uplift as well, maybe every 7 instead of every 8, get one more extra bus, but TfL and their infinite wisdom went, nope, decrease the frequency. I don't know how the route is coping now. I refuse to use it, especially like after school times, because as I said, every single time I have used it, it's been absolutely ram-packed busy. Well, the only thing I hate is the N136, only 8 trips a day. To be fair, at least you do have a night route. It is 8 trips a day, but that's still pretty good. And, you know, TfL land, night buses being any less frequent than every half an hour just doesn't happen. Even though I do feel like some night routes maybe do justify being like every hour instead of every half an hour, but I'm not going to complain. I feel like in a couple of years' time we will start seeing like a pruning back of the night network, which will be a shame. Because even though, sure, like the night network, let's be honest, is never going to be something that will carry massive amounts of people unless you're in central London. But it's very useful to have those connections out in the suburbs. Especially for stuff like the night element of like the 213, the 119, the weekend service on the 154 that doesn't run anymore, but that was very useful. Those types of routes never going to turn a profit because you're never going to be able, you're never going to have the demand to actually fill up a bus to the point where it actually breaks even every half an hour. But the connections that it provides, the usefulness, the links is, you know, unmatched. Yeah, I always skip if I need to get home from Catford. Yeah, it depends. If I'm like in the Grove Park area, I'll always take like the 284, or I'll take like the 181 instead. Get around to Catford. I mean, to be fair, the 181 is just like so indirect to get to Catford from Grove Park. But I'd always try to avoid it. Or I'll try to use it at times where it's not busy. But like, even if I try to use it, let's say at like 10 in the evening, you'd think, okay, probably not that busy, it's after rush hour. No, the bus is still rammed solid. Well, not rammed solid, but like every single seat's taken. Problems with having stuff not as long. Having a route that can't take longer buses even. Not gonna lie, I just wish the LX56s were in preservation. They were good. To be fair, it is possible that one of those could go into preservation after they're done with their sightseeing and training use. Although in saying that, I think Stagecoach is starting to phase them out. I think I've heard whispers that they're going to be replaced with Scanias, those training vehicles. So who knows? You might see some of those in preservation. It's just a shame that some of the like half of the fleet lost their top deck. Pretty much, they became sightseeing buses. But I can't imagine it'll be that expensive to put the roof. I say that, but bus preservation is an expensive thing anyway. To be honest, talking of preservation, I was looking at trying to preserve one of the esteems off... this is going to go get refueled. One of the esteems from the 181 or the 284. That was in my bucket list to preserve because they were childhood routes and I'm very fond of those, especially because they were very unique. The early batches Scania Omnicities, Scania Esteems, sorry, in London. But sadly, the one I was chasing after, my favourite one, turned out it had electrical problems and is now a baked bean can. So that's unfortunate. Best get the 284 136 from Grove Park to Catford. That's very true. But the 136 is again another route that is pretty busy. Some are going. Yeah, sadly, a large majority of the steams now don't exist anymore. 605, which was up with Aintree coaches in what's it, near Liverpool area in the north. It was one of the only ones that actually retained its dual door layout. It was actually the one I was looking at guessing. I was going to put in an offer for it, and sadly, it developed some electrical problems and doesn't exist anymore. But such is the way with preservation, I guess. You do also have the Red Rose ones. Those still exist, but those sadly are like X284 ones. So they're ones that went from London to regional Metrobus spec. So they lost their centre doors like years ago. So I kind of wanted to try keep one with its like original TfL layout. I meant the LX56s. Oh yes, sorry, that's yeah. Apparently they're due to be replaced in the training fleet. Those I've heard apparently it's they're going to be replaced with the Scania Omnicities. Those are going into the... Are those going into the training fleet or the sightseeing fleet? Some have already gone into the sightseeing fleet to replace them in London. I think they're also being replaced in the training fleet. And some of those, I don't actually know where they've ended up now, but they are great. And yes, it was 613 to... It wasn't 613 to 623. I think those were the 284's batch, but the ones that actually went to Metrobus provisional specs started from 615. Because 614 kept its original Metrobus, the Sails maquette, instead of the Blue Moon one. Because I remember that one fondly. It was brought back from the dead towards the end of its life in 2017 to act as a refurb float. And 613 wasn't that great. It was in a bit of a state, and it ended up being scrapped. So, need I say more? Yeah, before the E200s, yeah. Gal ran them into the ground. Some of them, yeah. Some of them more than others. Some were absolutely ropey towards the end of their lives. I think it was just because Gal knew that they were getting rid of them, so, why bother with maintenance? Why bother with the cost of having to, keep them in tip-top condition? Run them to the ground, sell them off, then it's someone else's problem. If you pause the game and click on the bus you want, can assign buses to the petrol station, bus wash and repair and clean inside. I do know that. Thanks for that, though. That is what I've been doing. I have been, assigning them and queuing up their tasks that I want them to do. But the LX56s, those E400 Tridents, which were the only long wheelbase ones in London, those were nice. Those are good batch of buses. I'm glad that I managed to ride them in their final days, and I got some good journeys out of them. It's a shame they were allocated to the 61, because the 61 wasn't really ever that fast of routes. Every single time I used it, it was... you'd basically be trundling around at about 15 miles per hour for the entire route. And now they've been replaced by the 261's SN63 plates, which are just complete naff. Just mind-numbingly boring buses. I think 605 was decent on its last day. There's a video of it doing the 161. Yeah, that video you're thinking of is actually mine. I did upload a video of it on the 161. There are also a couple of other videos of other people doing it, but yeah, I did get to ride it when it was on its last day on the 161. Although, to be fair, that wasn't technically its last day, because it did continue on for 2 weeks after. It started doing the R routes. It was on the R9, acting as a refurb float for its buses. The E200s allocated to the R9, and that's what that's what those esteems were just hanging around before Executioner Row. I was gonna say an LX56 was on my bucket list, so yeah. Yeah, if you're looking to get one of those, then ideally you'd want to get one directly from Stagecoach. Don't wait until they actually go into the regional side, to some independent, and then get completely ran into the ground. Because never mind having to deal with putting on a roof again, you'll have to deal with putting in a new engine, a new gearbox, get everything basically brand new, because trust me, some independents absolutely run their buses into the ground. I sort of learned that the hard way with the 405's N230 Omnideckers, because the two best ones in the fleet, 948 and 950, they both went to Go Goodwins, and they got some horrific mods. I'm never mind removing the center door, I'm talking they had disgusting Scania mud flaps, some sun visor stuff. It was just grim what they did to those vehicles. And then now they don't even exist in their fleet anymore. I literally think they ran them into the ground, and they're just spare parts now. Yeah, it was great in that video. That's true, yeah. So glad I managed to actually capture kickdown on that vehicle on its the last time it was on the 161. It was so out of the blue as well. Because the journey started off in North Greenwich. Like, the bus came around about 10 minutes late, and it was absolutely rammed solid because there was a massive horde of people. It's North Greenwich. It was at rush hour. It was around like 6:30. Understandable. So I wasn't able to properly like record until a bit later once everyone had gotten off. But it was pretty fast. I didn't miss out anything, and I was like, okay, this will be decent enough. You know, he's going pretty fast. I get he's trying to make up some time. He's not sticking to like the 20 limits, not sticking to the 30 limits. Fine. But and then just out of the blue towards Eltham, the guy just puts his foot down and decides. Well, firstly he stops off at a bus stop, and then another bus driver like speaks to him. I don't know if it was like a relief driver or if like he was just talking to him about, I don't know, the changeover, them switching over to Stagecoach the day after. I'm not sure what it was about. But literally leaving that stop was when he decided to put his foot down and use kickdown, and I was like, okay, this is completely out of the blue, but at least I managed to experience it on one of these. And then I think maybe he was using the gear selectors because I think he did end up forgetting to switch it back into drive afterwards, because he did continue to use it after the next stop as well, but then he realised, and then after that he just never used it again. So it was 50-50. 19137 I got my eye on for now. 19137. 137 was an okay one. I'm not sure if that's in the trading fleet or the sightseeing fleet, so I'm not sure if it's still about or not. Okay. So we have 80 grand. So we have no buses, but we can afford to buy a couple more. Can I research? Can't research deckers yet. Can expand the company premises, but I don't feel like I need that. The bus fleet. Expand the bus fleet. Let's go for it. Let's get some 0405s. Get 2 of them. Do I have any fleets, any liveries ready made? I do, but they're all Metrobus or Brighton and Hove liveries. Right. So in that case, make it nice and bright red. What operator could I do? I know. Tower Transit. Not Tower Transit. London United. Could also do Travel London, actually, to be fair, since I do have the logo for it. But no, where is LU? There it is. London United. What was their livery? London United. So it was with a grey skirt and then white top. Okay. Okay, so get the skirt going. Since it was grey with like a white line on top. Should I get it higher? Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that because that's really annoying how the white has continued over there. Okay. Okay, and now get the grey. Which might have been a lighter shade of grey. How does it look like on this side? Okay, that looks great. Get the grey sorted. Pretend as if like London United decided to buy some 0405s in London. Again, it would have been very nice if we actually did get these in London, to be honest. It's, we had plenty of chances to get interesting stuff, and to be fair, we did get some interesting stuff. For example, the 227 getting super pointed darts, which were unique for London. Should I just leave it like this instead? Makes good use of that. Maybe kind of ugly, not sure. And then obviously the 358 having Satara C2s, that's pretty unique in London. The Citaro Ks, which are on the 411 now. The 411. No, they're not on the 4... What am I talking about? They're on the 117. Ah, memory lapse. There we go. Insert the London United logo. Insert it here, since it can't go above the door at the rear, underneath the driver's cab. That looks good. London United, save locally, and apply. Hopefully not gone, it's a trainer. Ah, okay. That makes sense. I couldn't remember because the fleet was split in half, with like the first half, obviously now I know, going into the sightseeing fleet, and then the second half going into the training fleet. But yeah, no. 3-7, I think 3-7 was actually a pretty good one, now that I think about it. I remember there were some absolute dogs in that fleet. 3-9, 3-5. 3-5 was awful. I hated 3-5. Every single time I saw it come, and that was the bus that I had to take, I just dreaded it. Okay, what is this? Why? Come on, this isn't like Executioner's Row. I'm not going to get the firing squad out. Why have you lined up here on the brick walls like this? Okay, let's fit in a door. Okay, there's a door. Come on. Dear lords. Yeah. EAP. Yeah, 3-7 actually... 3-7 wasn't one that I ever was too fond of, but it wasn't like bad. I genuinely did. I think the worst one for me was like 3-5. 3-2 was okay, but you know, I was indifferent about it. Actually, 3-9 was 3-9 my favorite one, like the best one out of the fleet in my opinion. I can't remember. It's been a little while to be honest, so I can barely even remember which ones were good, which ones were bad. Oof. But yeah, no. I think this will be the perfect spot to leave this here. I thank everyone for watching. If you've made it this far, please give the video a like, subscribe. I try to do City Bus Manager videos every single week, along with Omnicity, some Transport Fever, Transport Fever 2 videos as well. Oh, I should also assign these shifts, because otherwise passengers are going to get very angry at me. And I'm going to be very angry at myself when I come back into this save for forgetting to do that. There we go. But yes, perfect spot to end it. All I have to say is thanks for watching. Remember seeing 139 on the 208. Yeah, to be fair, I did end up catching it on the 208. I do have a video of it up on the 208. It was very good on the 208. It was a lot of fun when those appeared. Those 56 regs appeared on like the 208, on the 261. Just anything away from the 61, they were just brilliant. Also, on top of that, I did also catch like a few Tridents on the 208, but one time I caught a Trident and the driver was just hating his life. He did not want to be there at all. So I didn't get a good journey. I just bailed at Bromley. I gave up. I don't think I probably would have bailed at Bromley. I couldn't go all the way to Lewisham. But anyway, enough rambling on from me. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.